Hi, so the book I chose to work on for my final project, as you can tell, is Go Ask Alice, and not unfortunately, I fortunately was able to get the book as a PDF, so I have attached the link if you click on the little Go Ask Alice book in my virtual classroom. So I'm not able to show you the cover. I know that was one of the requirements. However, I did post a link so you know that I did actually read the book, right? But the story is about a 16-year-old girl who is writing in her diary. So we're reading her diary, right? And I'm about to spoil the end of the book, but basically, in the end, she dies, and her parents donate the diary so that it could be made into a book, and hopefully, people and young kids learn from her experience, right? But the book is banned. Now, in another part of my final, I talk about why the book is banned. But the book basically is about a 15-year-old girl who ends up on drugs. And we go through this journey. She ends up at the end overdosing and dies. But we go through this journey of her being on drugs and her hiding it from her parents and her making friends. And, one day it's June 3rd and her best friend talk about sex, and her best friend tells her that, her grandma says if it's a Jewish couple and they found out the girl's not a virgin, then the boy doesn't have to marry the girl. They talk about how they didn't want to get married, and just we literally learn about what's happening, and then we learn about how she got addicted to LSD during a party one time, one school year. And it's just a roller coaster of emotions. We're just, we're taken on a high school girl's regular day-to-day journey. And here's like a specific diary entry that I would love to read really quickly. July 13th, Dear Diary. For 2 days now, I've tried to convince myself that using LSD makes me a dope addict and all the other low-class, unclean, despicable things I've heard about kids that use LSD and all the other drugs. But I'm so curious. I simply cannot wait to try pot only once, I promise. I simply have to see if it's everything that it's cracked up not to be. All the things I've heard about LSD were obviously written by uninformed, ignorant people like my parents who obviously don't know what they're talking about. Maybe pot is the same. Anyway, Jill called this morning. She's going to her friends for the weekend, and she'll call me the first thing in the morning, the first thing on Monday. So it's like, we read things like that throughout the whole book, and it's very interesting. And you can see why it may be banned in school, because it might be persuading students. It might make people feel like you're persuading students to do drugs, but you're not persuading students to do drugs. I, for one hand, am a prime firm believer in, like, giving student, and not just students, giving any child, the real straight answer, and telling them, like, look, this is reality, and telling the truth. Yeah, you want to shelter your kids, but you want to also help them be street smart, and this is reality, and this is real life. So Go Ask Alice is such a great book. I hope you guys read it, if you haven't already. And if you did, then you know what I'm talking about. I hope you like my final project. Thank you.